When we entered the Sahara Desert, the first thing I saw was skeleton of human beings who have died. I saw skulls, I saw people who just died. I saw people who were stranded because their vehicle got spoiled in the Sahara Desert. We were naked. You have to sleep on the ground. You raise your two legs up, you sleep with your tummy on the ground, because these persons that were actually doing all this collection of money, all this beating, all this torture, all this kidnapping, all this garbage and all that, they are Nigerians. These are our own people, our own Edo State people who speak the same dialect with us.
My journey, it was about 10 years. Did I get it here? Nice. Come back, sorry. If you can go back to my pictures when I come back 4 years ago, and see me now, you will hate me. You will be the one to cry for me. Why am I back to this country?
Irregular migration of Nigerians abroad has assumed a worrisome dimension in recent times. Give any African, most especially a Nigerian, an opportunity to travel overseas and you outrightly gain the title of Destiny Helper. A 2022 survey by the Africa Polling Institute found that a staggering 69% of Nigerians would relocate out of the country with their families if given the chance. On the lips of many Nigerians, both young and old, is the word JAPA. What does this word mean and why is it trending in Nigeria, you may wonder?
Maybe you are tired of this country. JAPA simply means for you to run out, for you to run away.
Yes, I would love to. That's a big opportunity for me though. So why won't I accept?
Leaving your comfort zone out of the country, looking for greener pasture.
If I was the opportunity to leave this country to JAPA, before you even say itself, I will accept. So this country is not more favorable for anybody. So if I should have the opportunity to JAPA in this country, straight off.
Get to study there, marry, work hard, and then make enough money because their money also have value over there.
Canada and Nigeria. I'll JAPA to Canada. I've been in the midst of like 10 of my age mates and everybody was like, they want to leave this country, they want to leave, but I was the only person that was trying to see if I could even preach to them. I was almost beaten that day, for real, man.
Nigeria has witnessed various forms of protest since time immemorial, but nothing quite prepared the country for the uprising by citizens against police brutality. The year 2020 saw protests rock the country, with many whose rights had been violated by the police taking to the streets to protest against the harassment and physical abuse by the now-defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS operatives. Despite the theme of the protest seeking an end to brutality by security operatives who have a duty to protect, these same uniformed men opened fire at the Lekki toll gate, killing peaceful protesters, and this narration has been confirmed by a judicial panel of inquiry and restitution at the Lagos Court of Arbitration charged with investigating the Lekki shooting.
The NSAS was a kind of exploded. You know, it became very, very popular among people. Well, I'm tired, I need to leave this country, I want JAPA, you know, and every young guy, even those that are working and those that are unemployed, that was what they had always looked to us to leave, you know, that they are tired of the system and that the system is actually suffocating them. You know, the trend became more, you know, like I said, more popular as a result of issues of, so to say, hardship, economic hardship, and we're kind of, a lot of people were questioning the type of leadership, you know, how they handle the citizens and everything. So that actually gave room to that JAPA trend. But like I said, before the 2020, people have been JAPA'd, and you know, just that it was not as pronounced as that.
While the word JAPA in itself is not illegal, relocating in search of a better life or for the fun of it cannot be stopped. But what the government of many nations agree with is the method through which relocations take place.
The JAPA trend birthed this report as I seek to find out why there is an unbelievably high number of irregular migrants and why these migrants choose to go on this terrifying journey despite the risks involved.
One of the factors fueling irregular migration is the desperation for greener pastures, which, simply put, is the crave for a better life. But what happens when you have a good life in your country of origin but still decide to migrate irregularly? This is the story of Jeremiah Adelwe, a graduate of Auchi Polytechnic who, despite owning a thriving business and living comfortably, made a conscious decision to journey through the desert.
I had to set up a laundry and dry cleaning service center where I started from. So the business was moving very well, nice. So I had couples of companies, banks, they were coming corporate, majorly corporate, because that's what I specialize on. And while I was doing that, I have some special customer. I call them VVIP because when they come, they give you extra change for what you do for them. So for example, you're washing the clothes for them for 1,005, 1,003, they can just give you 2,000 and tell you to keep the change, you know. So normally I usually pray for such customers to come because I know when they come I used to get additional funds. So this man, this very customer of mine, anytime I'm washing his clothes, I discovered that he had some Italian sticker. You know, when you're dry cleaning clothes, at the side of the clothes, right, there is the sticker they put in each clothes to identify the owner of the clothes. So I used to see some Arab signs, I see some Italian writings and Nigerian like that. So I know that guy normally travel. So he was like, okay, how much are you washing my clothes? And I said 150. So he was like 150. I said yes. So initially when he asked me that question, I was like scared. Maybe he's thinking that I am cheating him or something like that. But he now told me that in Europe, particularly in Germany, that same clothes I'm washing here for 150 in that place is €7. So he was like, you know, you are a very strong boy, you are hardworking, I like your drive, you know, I can help you to get to Germany if you don't mind. And I said, me I mind though. What am I doing here? Any 150, when I'm supposed to earn over 2,000, 3,000 plus. But he told me something like, I should not tell anybody.
From this point, the decision was Jeremiah's to make, and he did, a decision that scarred him deeply.
He took me to a park, exhibition park in somewhere in Ipoba Hill, around Aduawa side in Edo State. So I entered bus from there. So that bus took us from on the first through second, we got to Sokoto. So they had to take me to the border, the Niger border. So we crossed from Niger border with bike to Niger. So when we got to Niger, they now said we need to buy kuli-kuli, we need to buy gari, we need to buy glucose, biscuit and all that. But my brain did not actually picture it like somewhere that is going to Germany. Do you need to carry kuli-kuli, gari, glucose or anything like that? My mind was just like, okay, let me just get where I'm going to. Forget this kuli-kuli stuff. So it was when we go to the desert, that's why I know the importance of that kuli-kuli, gari and water. So when we entered the Sahara Desert, the first thing I saw was skeleton of human beings who have died. I saw skulls, I saw people who just died. I saw people who were stranded because their vehicle got spoiled in the Sahara Desert. And at the end of the day, that thing put fear in my mind. So when we were going, the first day, the second day, the third day, the kuli-kuli, the gari, the glucose, the milk, all of them got exhausted. We only entitled to 4 liters of water to pass the Sahara Desert. So, but because of how hot the Sahara Desert was at that time, we attempted to drink more water than necessary. So in a day, I've even finished my own water, the 5 liters I was given to me. And when we were going, the fourth day, Yes, the fourth day, there was nobody in the vehicle that was no longer having water, right? So the only thing that we need to do is to drink our urine. So, but they have a law there, you cannot drink your own urine, you have to drink somebody else's urine.
On your own, you were also comfortable. You were doing better than most people were. There are some people, they graduate and they will not have any means of livelihood. They'll be depending on their parents to help them. But you had people you were giving, you were paying salary, and you had your father. So if you had combined both, it would have been more than enough for you to live and survive and even upgrade. So do you think, if you think about it now, do you think it's something spiritual?
Okay.
Like they will say village people.
No. This one is neither village people, neither spiritual issue, is lack of wisdom. So it was not spiritual anything. It was just that I was not, because in Benin, this is what happened in Benin. In Benin, it's like a competition. If you check House A might have 2 persons abroad. If you go to House B, if House B do not have at all, at least they will have 1. If you go to House C have like 7 or 8. So each houses have somebody that lives abroad. Is our tradition, it's our custom. We like it like that. So in my own family, there's nobody that has broken that yoke to travel abroad. So me, I was like, this is my opportunity.
Unlike Jeremiah, who journeyed to Libya and promised never to turn back in such journey through the regular means, he has Marian, a mother of 2 who has journeyed through the desert 5 times in 10 years.
I finished my secondary school 2007. After the secondary school, that's when I travel. After the secondary school, I have a baby before traveling. That's my push factor and my family issue. So coming back, I do come back to Nigeria during those periods because of challenges. I can't cross sometimes. If I make attempt to cross, capsizing or some other things, some prison issue. So during my 10 years in Libya, 1 or 2 problems always return me back to Nigeria. Coming back to Nigeria, I don't get anything good. So I was always forced to go back. Always forced to go back. But getting there also, maybe crossing, living around, kidnapping, all those things, I will still come back to Nigeria about 5 times, going, coming. Yes, because I wanted to come back home. After maybe when I'm down there, when things are not going good for me, I feel like even though I want to die, I should go back home and die. As long as I'm not getting it from the CSF, I should go back home. But getting back to Nigeria, things are not the way I will still also try again. Things will not go, I will still like force myself back to that place before the last one. In 2019, November 2nd, when I was kidnapped. And that was a serious issue. That is when I lost everything. I don't believe in myself again.
Marian says families are greatest undoing as well as lack of support from fellow Nigerians.
Yeah, this is my 4 years in Nigeria, nothing good. It's like from head to head, from fire to fire. If I get out now, I don't even have anything again. I have a baby of going to 17 November this year. That girl is going to 29 of this month. Nothing, nobody. Coming back to Nigeria, I still meet a man that still send me back to my bar, as in things I don't want to go through, things I don't want to fear about my children. I still come back also for those children the way I don't want it. So what is the essence of being alive? That's the reality. This is me now, Miriam. I have nothing. I have no family to stand by me. What am I here? Yeah, I've tried. I've gone for entrepreneur. I try business. Yes, but you know, in Nigeria, what I come to realize is that when you are alone, you are alone. You must have somebody. Even when you are going to some things, you get somebody to draw your attention back that, baby girl, this is not you. Pick up again. No way, nobody. All what they still want from my family is to me giving them again all the things. Even upon IOM support, I still support my niece, giving them money. When I start business, my mommy was forcing me to keep my 2 nicks with me. I said no, in Lagos it's not going to be possible. I hardly accept one, and they won't run me out of the life. Like almost 3 million business, she make it down.
As humans, they say we learn from the mistakes of others, but from 2017 till date, over 10,000 people have died while migrating irregularly. Others end up being trafficked. But this figure and the stories shared by irregular migrants who were repatriated to Nigeria, why then do people, especially Nigerians, still choose to go on the soul-risking journey? How exactly does the human mind work? These burning questions require answers, which leads me to the office of a clinical psychologist.
Okay, so I want to know what is it about the human mind that makes people, make or take decisions that at the end of the day they know will not end up well for them?
Yeah, it's not only Nigerians, just like you said, the human mind, it's one of the reasons why people do that is because they are interested in immediate gain. They're not looking at, the possible consequences, right? Anyone that wants to build a house should first count the cost. You don't just jump into an action that can have eternal consequences and very serious consequences. So they are looking at the immediate gain. There's an innate or intrinsic desire in every human being to succeed. I mean, it's just there. It's just inside every one of us. Now, it depends on the degree of risk we are ready to take. Now, one of the ways I can explain that as psychologist is one of the greatest American psychologists is we'll call him a humanistic psychologist, Abraham Maslow. Had this theory called the hierarchy of needs theory. Okay, in the hierarchy of needs theory, there are about 5 levels. It's normally shown like a pyramid, right? So at the floor, what we call the basic needs, physiological needs, right? You have these physiological needs or basic needs, like the need for food, for drink, for sleep, right? For sex. These are biological needs. So Abraham Maslow said that normal human beings want to satisfy their basic needs. So if you're in a place and those basic needs are not met, right, they want it met. So this is a very good theory that could explain why a lot of people are involved in JAPA in Nigeria or Africa, because the basic needs, they want to meet their basic needs. If you travel to Europe and America, you see that even the remotest village in Europe and America, all those things are there. The things that there's constant light, there's security, whatever you call is anything like the remotest village in Europe and America, all the basic needs are provided. But here in Africa, and particularly in our country, it's not like that. Human beings are moved by either reward or punishment. You understand? So when they put reward or punishment in a scale, and to them, the reward is higher than the punishment. The gain is higher than the loss. So they are not even looking at the loss at all. Okay, if that my friend was able to cross, well, myself, I can also cross.
After crossing the Mediterranean, making it to their destination half alive, and realizing that not all that glitters is gold, many of these irregular migrants then have one thing in common: the need to be repatriated. Rising up to the occasion, the International Organization for Migration becomes the knight in shining armor to the migrants.
The irregular migration, it's very hard to track. We do have some instruments, the displacement tracking metrics, that we employ in order to get an understanding of how many people are crossing the borders irregularly. But even that one should be used more as an attempt to have a measure rather than like final numbers, right? So unfortunately, no one has the final numbers, and we just need to use different sources in order to get just a feeling and understanding of how many people are living. From our programs, because we also do health checks for several countries, part of their visa application program, right? So we do have kind of an impression about the regular pathways out of the country and also irregular pathways. I would say that in the last several years, the overall tendency was towards immigration, so we have quite a big number of people going abroad. Just to give you a sense of that, last year us doing the medical checks for UK, for the US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. So just the medical checkups that we did were at the level of 240,000. Irregular migration is not for free. You always have guides, you always have smugglers, you always have people who are facilitating, crossing one border, getting you through the desert, getting you from one place to another. So ultimately, for you to get just to the Libyan shores, it costs you quite sweetly, and then to cross the Mediterranean is even more, right? So overall, that the journey and with a final result will actually be quite a lot of money. You cannot do it with an empty pocket. It's not hitchhiking.
Just like the IOM, the Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, a federal government agency, has carried out various repatriation interventions since it was established in 2019.
It is not our duty to be receiving somebody who went out and who got deported to be receiving. We are only doing what we call citizen diplomacy, to say that, okay, this is our fellow citizens, let us show some compassion, welfare, this thing, because they'll be calling on us, they'll be writing on us, so it is not our duty. And that is why at times you see that it's the duty of NAPTIP too, because some of them have been trafficked. Anybody trafficked is the duty of NAPTIP. We just do this on a compassionate ground. Do you see us receiving medical doctors? Do you see us receiving lecturers? Do you see us receiving the lecturer being deported, or somebody who has something to do there? If you have something legitimate to do there, nobody will, because you have your papers, nobody will chase you away. Do you see us receiving nurses? Do you see us receiving sport people who went there for sporting activities? If you have your legitimate business to do, you do that.
In 2021, the list of 10 countries with the highest number of people in crisis or worse was released by the United Nations, and Nigeria was tagged 5th.
Give me an example of somebody who JAPA, and they will tell you they sold their family land for 5 million naira, or sold something for somebody's car, or this and that. I mean, none of them could have raised less than 2 to 3, 4 million naira to embark on this process. And you raise the same money from the same country you claim is having difficulty. Despite the economic challenges we are having, with 1 million naira, if you have it, you can establish yourself to do something meaningful for yourself in this country.
So a lot of Nigerians are stranded there. I was opportune to see a lot of Nigerians that spent 16 years, 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and more. And other Africans, I saw Gambians, Ghanaians, and Osco. I even had interactions with them.
Insecurity, as well as Nigeria's economy, is another reason enough to drive anyone to JAPA.
There are people who have said that they will never come back to this country again. Some of them, right? In fact, I have some of my friends. You know, there's one of them that came. He's been in the US for 20 years. He came back after 20 years, and he couldn't get to his village. He couldn't go and see his mother in the village. After staying in America for 20 years, came back here. Issue of security. His village is under siege.
As of May 2023, the Consumer Price Index, which measures the rate of change in prices of goods and services in the country, rose to 22.22% in April 2023, the fourth consecutive surge in the country's inflation figure since the year began.
It's a clear indicator that the direction of the economy is downwards. And when you juxtapose that with a number of other factors like the exchange rate that has consistently seen the naira getting devalued against the dollar. In the last, say, 10 years, for example, the devaluation rate, whether you are looking at the official market or you are looking at the parallel market, is anything between 200% to as high as 400% of the parallel market. Look at unemployment rate at 33%. Look at poverty rate that has 130 million plus Nigerians living in multidimensional poverty. Over 100 million Nigerians recognized to be living below the poverty line, as defined by the United Nations to mean people living on less than $2 per day. That paints a very gloomy picture for the Nigerian economy, and the inflation rate is just another cap or another indicator on how bad things are. And of course, what the inflation rate also implies is that the purchasing power of the average Nigerian is being eroded consistently. The economy can be turned around if you have purposeful, dynamic, visionary, courageous, and selfless leadership. The economy can be turned around. The challenge we have is, a lot of the times, first of all, we don't even have leadership at all. We have rulership. And a lot of the times, our political rulers do not have the best interest of the country and of its people at heart. When they make their policies, when they make their decisions, projects that they fund, that they pursue, the interest of the people is rarely ever the primary driving objective. The objective would be how they and their immediate circle of friends will benefit the most. If the incoming administration runs the country purposefully, the debt problem can be reversed in record time. In the first term of 4 years, you can reduce that debt burden significantly. How? Simply increasing revenue, for example, is one very significant way of ensuring that the impact of the debt burden will not harm the economy too much. Another way is to cut waste in government, significant reduction of waste, streamlining of public service agencies, ministries, and parastatals, reduction in cost of governance generally, reducing the size of government. All of these things, of course, these things will take courage and strength to do. It will require reforms and very tough policy stance.
Persistent insecurity, a crumbling economy, and rampant corruption are the leading issues for the Tinubu-led administration to tackle. Coupled with the high cost of living and unemployment, these concerns have made the country unstable and unpredictable for many.
So perhaps unconsciously, this new sense of identity has crept in and is becoming dominant among many Nigerians. A curious sense of anywhere is home is becoming commonplace among young Nigerians. A compulsive migration to other lands, making JAPA an unending journey.